Hello everybody, I am vaxherd, and this is the Guardian Legend. It's a fun little game, really great little game from the back around the middle of the NES area. I see the 1988 date on the title screen here, but rather than me babbling on about it here, why don't we get ourselves underway so you can look at the wonderful gameplay while I babble on about it. So, without further ado, in 3, 2, 1, go! So, minor little thing, we do start timing on gaining control and not on pressing start. There is a very fun reason for why that happens. I'll get to show it off, and if not, I'll tell you about it after the run. But we are underway into a great little auto-scroller section because, of course, every good speed game starts out with an auto-scroller. But don't worry, there's going to be plenty more to enjoy. The Guardian Legend is kind of a, I guess you call it a mashup of the shoot-'em-up and adventure genres. So a little while we're going to be seeing some Zelda-style gameplay. If that's more your thing, we have some of that for you too. But there is actually a ton of stuff to talk about. It's a surprisingly deep game in terms of strategy and gameplay design. And I don't know if how much I'm going to be able to get through in the 1 hour we have. That's how deep it is. But I'm going to do what we can. And first off, we have this boss coming up. And it's going to be a little difficult because we try to go fast in the speed run, and this boss does not want you to go fast. But one thing I am doing here, and I think we'll probably talk about it a little bit later because it comes into play more then, is I'm actually managing my drops. Drops are an interesting thing in this game because they are fully predictable. You can predict when and what you're going to get from drops, health upgrades, etc. And you can arrange to get those at the best times, the first boss fight. So try and get through this as quickly as possible, but also as safely as possible because, of course, this is a marathon run, and we want you to see more of the run. As you see, this is... This boss really does not want you to go into this planetoid that we're trying to explore. But we have other plans, so we will get right past that and get on our way. So, having gotten through that, we are sent into the exploration mode, into the Room of Reflection. And why do I call it the Room of Reflection? Because every time we go through it, we are told, I must have failed. And so I use my time in that room to reflect on what, I may not have done quite so well in the run up to that point. But so far, it's actually not going too bad. We have some frisbees who are trying to attack me there, but it's cool. We'll play with them some other day. So this is the exploration mode, and the gameplay loop of the Guardian Legend is essentially you explore this planetoid called Naju to find power-ups like the one I just did. That is a chip upgrade. Chips are our special weapon ammo, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later. And then we head into the corridors, as the game calls the shoot-'em-up sections, to explore, or rather to defeat the bosses which guard the self-destruct system of Naju. So to kind of go back on the lore, I've thrown out a couple of names, not really explaining them, but the lore is pretty simple. You are the Guardian, this character here, an android who can transform between humanoid and ship forms, and your task is to investigate a planetoid called Naju, which is approaching Earth, defeat its invading life forms, and blow the planet up before it destroys Earth. Which seems like a good plan, so let's do that. The way to do that is there is a self-destruct system on Naju, which is protected by 10 corridors which you have to pass through. This is the first of those 10. And so according to the lore, the bosses are the protectors of that system, and thus we will be going forward. However, this is kind of an introductory corridor. As you see, it's going kind of slowly, yet not too many enemies, fairly easy. I think the developers intended it as kind of a way for the player to get used to the game in a less hectic setting than that very first bit. But since it will take a while, I think I'll throw it over to Skenme and see if we have any info.
Well, I can let you know there have currently been no force drops at the moment. Right. However, we have had a $10 donation come in from Zero Kieran, who's sat at the back of the room. There he is. Thank you so much for your $10, Zero Kieran.
Ooh, thank you very much. Yes. So, the first of those optional safety items will be coming up in about 10 to 12 minutes. So, kind of think of that time frame if you're looking to give me a bad time. And of course, I will be happy to have a bad time for the sake of charity. So. We're going to keep on going forward. There's a little interesting thing you may see me doing here, which is, typically in the shoot-'em-up, you see players just shooting the enemies down as soon as they appear, but I'm actually not going to be doing that for a lot of this run because I'm actually managing my score. So something you may have noticed at the beginning of this quarter, there's a little kind of like a fanfare that played. That was a level up. At certain score points, so like at the first one's at 30,000, we'll be coming up on 100,000 in quarter 2. At those points, you will get a health upgrade. So the health in the lower left of the screen says 4 health. That will my max there will upgrade, and I will get a full health and chip refill. Now, that happens the instant you get that score. It doesn't matter where you are in the game. It doesn't matter if you're in the middle of a boss battle, and so that is exactly what we will plan to do, is to get those level ups at very convenient points in the run. And in order to do that, I need to manage my score throughout this entire run. Make sure that I have those, I can hit those specific targets. And in order to do that, my score has to be both not too low, but also not too high. So I'm looking at my score right now. I have a mental target. I want to be at 71,000 points when I get to this boss, and I'm only 280 behind. So that's a good place. That's a place I like to be in. So here's a boss, and let's see what we can do about it. Yep, not too bad. I wouldn't be too happy about that in the PB attempt, but for a marathon run, that's just fine. And that's what we're going to do with a lot of the bosses in this game. We're going to get up close and personal. We were actually taking advantage of a number of techniques there, kind of subtle effects of the way the game's weapon system is designed. But as it happens, if you get up right up into a boss and put a special weapon inside its hitbox, you do not take damage from that boss, and that is why I was able to get out of that with as little damage as I did. In other games, you would expect that I would have just died straight up from sitting there, but in the Guardian Legend, we can actually do that and get some extra damage as well. So a former runner of the Guardian Legend, Matrick, came up with a great name for that, called body checking. Use that in the community now. Decent spawn for this mini-boss. The reason I say decent spawn is because it lets me get a quick exit from that room. Every time you fight a mini-boss in the labyrinth, there is you get a reward, obviously, as we just picked up the fireball sub-weapon. But a little fanfare plays saying, congratulations, you defeated the mini-boss, but we don't want to wait for that. If the fanfare starts playing, you have to wait for it to stop before you get out of the room, and that's slow. So if we can manage to get out first, that saves about 3 seconds each time we do it, and so it's a little thing we aim for. A lot of really little things in this run that we try to accomplish. Each individual one is only a few seconds here or there, but they do add up over the course of the run. So with that done, we've actually made our way all the way to the far end of Area 1, where we have a second mini-boss. We're going to make use of the fireball weapon we just picked up. And we just snuck out the quick exit. My movement was not great there, but it was just good enough to get out for the fanfare. So we're doing a quick death warp here, return to the Room of Reflection. But actually was not a bad Area 1. I'm not too upset with that. Could have been better, but could have been worse. So we're going to head back into to the central area and then back to Area 2. So I mentioned there are 10 corridors that we'll have to go through. Each one of them has an associated area of the labyrinth, and those are progressively unlocked as you make your way through the different corridors. So you will notice there are kind of themes to these. Well, I guess you may not notice it yet because we haven't gotten to a second theme, but you will notice when you get into Area 3, it has a significantly different environmental theme to it. And one of the things that I think is really neat about this game is the way that they really tried to show, a large planetoid, if you will, not just a labyrinth, not just a generic labyrinth. They really did put a lot of thought into it, but let me get this boss first before we go further. Ooh, good spawn. Just short. So that was the fanfare that I mentioned. That was a good spawn to get it, but my movement was a little bit off, my timing was a little bit off, and I just did not get it. As the Room of Reflection tells us, I must have failed. But again, it's only 3 seconds. It's not a disaster, and we will keep on going. The fun little thing that I am doing that may not be immediately obvious, but I will. Oops! If I don't get stuck on the corner there, I'll show you here is I have a kind of claw grip on the controller. I'm holding down the select button, and I'm going to keep on doing that throughout the entirety of Quarter 2, because there's a little cutscene that plays every time you go into or out of corridor. I'll talk more about after this mini-boss, who spawned right on top of me. Good job, sir. cutscene that plays. It's 6 or 7 seconds long. Shows the Guardian transforming between her humanoid and ship forms. Just another nice touch. Kind of adds to the atmosphere. But in a speedrun, we don't have to want to wait for that. So there's a may have been an Easter egg, may have been a debugging feature they left in the game. But there's a feature that if you hold the select button, you get 1 frame of the cutscene, and then you're immediately back to gameplay. Unfortunately, select is also the menu button, and so we don't want to have to open the menu every time we want to skip a cutscene. So the solution is to just keep on holding the select button, and that is what I do. It can be a bit awkward depending on the controller you use. The one I have here is the so-called dog bone controller that comes with the Japanese Famicom, and I find it very comfortable to do on that. But we are also coming up on the 2nd level up, so if you keep an eye out on my score, when I hit 100,000 points, I will get that level up. My maximum health will increase by 1 box. That should come up right around here. And that is what I'm going to try to get at a very specific point later in the run. But until we get there, I do still have to manage my score as I'm going forward. And also, since I brought up health, it's a good time to talk about that as well. There are a lot of really subtle things that go on with health. So if you look every time that Miria takes a hit, Miria, by the way, is the name of the Guardian given in Japanese manual. The English manual leaves her nameless, but we in the community all tend to call her Miria. When Miria takes a hit, you will notice, I'll take one here, and you can see there's a little circle that pops up around her. That's her shield, you can think of. And every time she takes a hit, her shield loses energy. And when that energy goes down to 0, that is 0 health. But at 0 health, you're not dead. You can keep on going. And you pick up another health drop, then you are back in the running and just fine. And we're going to make a lot of use of that in the run. So you keep an eye on that. You see that health go down to 0. It is scary because the next hit is game over. But it also, it is also very good use of health and as a resource. And as in a lot of games where health is they have a health component, health is a resource that you can make use of to go faster. And in this run, we do that very much. So with that done, we have made it through quarter 2. I'm going to pick up a bit more score there. I may have picked up a little bit too much, but it's not too hard to drop score later. And we are on to the boss. So again, same body checking strat here. Take some intentional damage because we're about to do a death warp. And we are out. And once again, we'll see 1 frame of the cutscene, but I still have the select button held. And now we are done. And now the next thing I know I'm going to need to do, I'm going to have a menu before my next corridor, and so I can let go of select. Go back to a typical controller grip. And I kind of like the fact that, there is a reason to change up the grip because, A, it keeps things interesting for the runner, and B, gives my hand a little bit of exercise. A little bit of, try and, reduce the repetitive strain, all those things that are, that can become an issue. We're going to make our way into Area 3, and now we can see what I was mentioning earlier, the individual environments. More of a forest environment we see here. And as I was talking about earlier, I think it's really neat they put this much thought into building the game, building the environment. It makes me wonder, what could this game have been like if they had built it in the modern era? Unfortunately, the game we have is this game, and it is a great game nonetheless. So one thing I haven't talked about yet is the quarter gimmicks. Every quarter has a unique gimmick in order to open it. When I went to quarter 2, you saw me touching these red panels. Quarter 3, the gimmick is to wait. If you find an NPC in the labyrinth, he will tell you just to wait, and quarter 3 will be open. And sure enough, 21 seconds after we enter the room, the quarter opens. And in we go. But whenever you see me doing something strange in or near a quarter room, that's probably what's going on. I am unlocking that thing. So we are into quarter 3, and if you have played this game before, you know what that means. You know that means Optimon. And when I say that name, you are probably quaking in your boots. And if you haven't played TGL before, well, you're in for a treat. You're also in for a treat because, the great music in this game. Soundtrack I can't talk about enough. A funny thing happened with the soundtrack. A viewer once came into my stream, pointed out that each of these individual tracks is only 20 to 30 seconds long, and I literally had never noticed that because it was always just such a perfect accompaniment to the gameplay. that you know, I was just, you know, tapping my foot or shooting my gun along with the music, and never occurred to me it really is that short. That's just how good the soundtrack is. So we're gonna make our way up here. I'm watching my score still. My score is still a little bit high, but I do need to push the drops along. Again, I'll have a bit more opportunity to talk about in quarter 4, but I am looking for specific drops at specific points here to maintain full health when I get to the boss. And right here, I'm looking to pick up a red chip. There it is. And count kills here. 4, 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to push it back a little bit. 9, 10, 11. That's too many. 12. Okay, rocks be nice, rocks be nice, rocks be nice, rocks please be nice, please be nice, rocks be nice, rocks be nice, please be nice, please be nice. Okay, rocks were nice. Woo! That is something that I always have to pray for if I get an early red chip. But the rocks were nice to us. We are going with full health into Optimon. This, of course, as I mentioned, a very dangerous boss. And this is, of course, a marathon run, so we are not going to do anything remotely dangerous here. We're going to play it safe and get past this boss. And that was Optimon. Roast seaweed, anyone? So, okay, maybe you didn't play it quite as safely as I suggested. That was actually still a slow kill by my standards, but that is Optimon. That fight is actually could be a lot slower, but again, a strat developed by former TGL runner Matrick, shoutouts to Matrick, to get a bunch of damage on the boss early on. Those first few swings of the shooting the fireball into him at close range, again taking advantage of that invincibility factor when you have a special weapon inside the boss. Even a fireball counts as having a special weapon inside the boss. Taking advantage of that to get a lot of extra damage, really cutting down his health by about half, and that just speeds that fight up a lot. Quick exit there. Always nice to get that one. That was a shield upgrade. You saw the little icon there for a moment. That gives us extra defense. And in a normal run, you would, I'm sure the developers intended you to pick that up first, and then go into quarter 3. But that's too slow. That is 20 seconds slower. We're not going to spend 20 seconds doing that. So we are now making our way over to Area 4. This one is a bit of a walk. So I think I'll turn it over to Skemmy. You have an update on that first donation incentive, which is coming up shortly?
I mean, people are being way too kind. Like, well, not kind enough because they're not sending in the donations, but we still don't have any donations towards you having to drop these. So I'd take advantage of that if I were you.
All right, well, and I certainly shall do that. Yeah. We do, of course, appreciate any donations you may have to send in, but I will certainly take advantage of that and make the run a little bit safer, make sure you have a better chance to see everything we have to show in this run. So we're now into Area 4, and again, this is a second forest area. Each pair of areas has the same kind of environmental theme to it, and we're going to make our way over. So this is also a good time to talk about the drop system that I mentioned a little while ago, which is that drops are predictable in this game. So every enemy in the game has in addition to its regular score, has what I call a drop score attached to it. And there's a hidden drop counter that counts up the score from all of the enemies you've killed. Most enemies, it's just like 2, sometimes 3. Some enemies worth quite a bit more, and knowing which enemies those are can help you advance the drop counter when you need it. But we're going to actually take advantage of that in this upcoming next quarter, quarter 4, because I'm going to be fighting a mini-boss after the quarter, and I definitely want to have full health for that. But I also want to spend health on the boss, because that will let me cut a cycle off of the fight. So what I'm going to plan to do is set up an energy tank drop, which is a full health restore. I don't think we've seen any yet in this run, but we will aim to pick up one of those during or maybe right at the end of the boss fight. and have full health. Spend all our health on the boss fight, but then have full health again when we go into the mini boss afterwards. So this is quarter 4, and from this point the game does calm down a little bit. Once you've gotten past Optimon, it's kind of you've gotten past the first barrier, the first wall of the game, and gives you a little break. This is a fast quarter. You have to kind of know where things are in order to be safe in here. But of course, I've run this game a few times, and so I have a pretty good idea of where we will find things in this corridor. Again, getting lots of kills here, farming out those drops, and with that, I've actually gone through the first cycle. There's the drops cycle through a set of 8. There was a heart that we just saw. Next one's going to be a red chip, and there's so a heart gives you 5 health back. Red chip, oh, there's the red chip, and then blue chip is just a tiny amount of health. It's not very useful. And we're going to have 2 hearts, 2 red chips, which are chip and health, more chips than health, but give you both. And then the final one depends on which cycle you are on, of how many 8s you've gone through. So the first one was a red chip we already saw. The second one, should I get this? We'll take it. So again, managing where I am in the cycle. And I kind of wanted that. I had some quick decisions to make. I don't think I made the right ones, but let's see how this fight goes. There is a backup for the health if I need it. It's slightly slower. It's significantly slower, but hopefully things will work out. So again, staying up here. This time I am taking damage, and this is a kind of another factor of the... Oh, that's a bad spawn, though. Okay, the boss said no. So that I was kind of hoping... So there was a really tight squeeze. There was a chance I could have squeezed in there, but the boss just said no on that, and I did not get it. So we're going to have to go back through that. It's unfortunate. But it's unfortunate in a couple senses, because it's also going to throw off my score routing a bit. But there are ways around that. So we're going to have to walk through. Since I've just done all this, we just have to do it again. You have anything new? Anything donations or anything else you want to talk about, Skip Me?
Get your donations in, right? It's only $50, and it means that we make this game harder for vaxherd here, and your donations go to Make-A-Wish, and for $50 you can put that towards one of our targets as well, so you can make other games harder for other people as well. So you're doing an amazing thing. Thank you for all your donations so far, and type !donate in the chat to get the link to make sure that you get your donations into us here at Stream2.
I believe I've seen a couple of donations that have gone to the wrong stream, so yeah, do make sure you check the right one. They may not see it in stream 1 until it's too late to send it over here. So do send it to the right place. But again, every donation you can send in, even if it's not a full $50, every little bit will goes to help Make-A-Wish, and every little bit will help go to make somebody's life better. And any little bit you can do will of course be a help. But we're going to go back through here. We're going to do a better job this time. It was a little bit bad luck. That was a fairly rare spawn that we got on that second cycle, but also it was my fault for pushing it. So as the Room of Reflection tells us, I must have failed. You have a little bit of lag going on here. This game is very good at not lagging in general, but it is still an NES game. It does have its limitations of the hardware. However well the programmers did, and they did a really good job. There's some things they just couldn't overcome. So I do try not to shoot my main gun when when I can avoid it. But here I do need to get the kills and the drops. So can we get that? We only get the first. All right. So what this means is I will not be able to get the energy tank. I will have to. I think I will do is I will just make this a 4-cycle fight. I will not sit on the boss as I did last time, and that will ensure that I do have full health at the end. So there is the thing, and potentially I could go up and do the shorter thing, yeah, but it would not give me a 3-cycle fight, so I will just go ahead. And this is the energy tank that I wanted to get. Oh, and he's got another troll spawn there, but slightly higher on the screen. Lets me get in underneath, and we will have full health after we finish this boss. So that is that. And I have some interesting score manipulation to do, but we are through quarter 4. So there we go. Pick up our reward, head out, and get to the mini-boss as well. So I did mention the score earlier. My target here is 244,000. I am 35,000 points over that. I have to find 35,000 points to throw away somewhere. So that will be an interesting challenge. Let's see how that goes. But first, a mini-boss. This one's another bouncy flower. We saw the green version in Area 3. This one's actually moves a little bit slower. I don't know why the slower one is in a later area, but, you know, it's all good. It gives us an attack upgrade, which was very beneficial. Let us kill things that much more quickly and take a quick death warp out to the entrance. So we're heading into Area 5. There will be another optional upgrade in Area 5, and scan me. My impression is we do not have that has not been met.
It has not. And you know what?
Don't tell vaxherd. It's now only $25.
You have no excuse anymore. $25 for the remainder. I think there's 3 left, right?
3 left, yes.
So yes, there are now 3 available at the low price of $25.
All right, so here we are. We'll go ahead and take the optional health upgrade over here, which is actually kind of good because I took quite a bit of damage coming over here, and we have what can potentially be a very scary mini-boss coming up. You know, obviously, we don't fight a lot. There are a lot of mini-bosses we just flat-out skip. You saw me run through a room with an alarm earlier. That is a mini-boss room, and you know, we just don't need it. But there are a few that we do need, and this particular one up here can be very scary, depending on where he spawns on the screen. So let's see how this goes. Ooh, that's a bad spawn. This could be interesting. Okay, so we did get him up onto the green blocks. When he gets up onto the green blocks, he starts moving pretty slowly. He actually was pretty nice with the shots there as well. His shots do a lot of damage. But he was pretty nice both with that and then with moving up to the green blocks very kindly. One of the very few glitches in this game, as I mentioned before, it's very well programmed. Not only does it not lag much, there are very few glitches. And the ones that are there are not really that game impacting. You know, as someone with programming experience myself, I like to call out when I see good programming. So, you know, big shout out to the Guardian Legend developers for creating a game both technically and aesthetically pleasing. You have this kind of ice theme, crystal theme. If I had to pick a single favorite track from this, it would be this one. However, I hear another sound in the background and skimming. Does that mean there's something that I need to hear?
There is something you need to hear. Zero Kieran has donated the $25 as required. It says, let's make things interesting, so you will be skipping or dropping your next safety item.
All right, and I shall do that. Thank you so much for your donation. And yes, we are making it through the first instance of these crystal rocks kind of float around the screen. And I need to start dodging some of these orange guys here because they're going to add a lot of score on, and if I don't hit them, then I don't get that score. So let's see what we can do here. Of course, I have to dodge them, and I also have to keep enough health for the boss. So this is a little interesting, but it's all good. It's all good. We made it up. Score is still rather high, but dodge what we can. We may be able to dodge some more in the next corridor, and I'll just have to manage. Up we go, down we go, up we go, down we go, up we go, down we go, up we go, and away we go. And that was Zib Zub. Now out of Quarter 5, and we will see shortly we get a reward from that. Reward from Quarter 5 is a special weapon called the Enemy Erasers. I never got around to talking about chips, so I'll do that next. But the Enemy Erasers are kind of this game's smart bomb. If you think of how most shoot-em-ups have a smart bomb type of weapon, Enemy Erasers are that for this game. And we will be using those quite a bit in the later quarters, specifically 8, 9, 10, and I will bring those up again when we get closer. There's some things to know about them, but for the meantime, I passed right by that optional health because you told me to drop it, and so that is what I will do, and we will go straight into Quarter 6. So on to chips. So I've talked a little bit about the special weapons. You see now in the bottom right, this kind of V-shaped, that is the cutter laser. It's like the saber laser I've been using earlier, but it shoots on both sides, or it extends out, I guess, on both sides. And you see this shot there is counting down once per second. So that is the number of seconds for this weapon. Some, like the fireball, are an actual number of shots that you can use. For this weapon, it is seconds. So I have 39 seconds with my 39 chips. 390 chips. I can use this for 39 seconds. The cost varies by weapon. Obviously, the stronger a weapon is, the more chips it uses, and we will see after I get the next upgrade, that shot count is going to drop drastically. And so chip management ends up being one of the really significant parts of this run in the end game, because we're not gonna. Oh, hello, sir. Are we having fun? We're not gonna sit around and search out the chip upgrades, because that's slow. What we're gonna do is we're gonna go in with extremely low, probably much lower than the devs intended, numbers of chips. And we're going to get through the game anyway. But in order to do that, we have to really set up a lot of things. So the score routing is a big part of that. Again, getting the level ups during boss fights. Remember, level up is not just additional health; it is also full health and chips refill. And it's really more the chips that we are looking for rather than the health, so that we can get away with a remarkably low chip count here. We've actually done a pretty good job of dumping health. However, I do not have, or dumping score rather. I'm pretty close back to my target now, but a couple of side effects. Number one is I may not be able to get the 2 cycle here, because I do need to body check to get that, and that's going to hurt. And yeah, we do get a drop though. Will help. Let's see what we can get here. Oh, we got it. Nice. Very tight, but we did get the 2 cycle. And we are now out of quarter 6. So we are actually into the latter half of the game now. 6th of the 10 corridors. We have no business in area 6. We are going to head straight out and over to area 7. Get quick on our way. And just to follow up on that, on the optional health upgrades incentive, we have the next one will be coming up in area 9. So that is probably 10, maybe 15 minutes away. So again, by all means, get your donations in while I take advantage of another tiny little glitch here to refill my health. Those little blue chips I mentioned earlier give you very small amount of health, very small amount of chips. But in the labyrinth specifically, if you run into one from the corner, you can pick it up every frame over and over. Also, by the way, these red volleyballs are terrible. I'm going to actually dodge around them, because one hit from those takes out about 2/3 of my health bar. And I don't want to do that. I want to keep my health. My health is good. But again, a very minor glitch, and I kind of wonder if it was left in intentionally. Perhaps the devs found it and said, oh, we could actually make really good use of that, because every area you enter has those blue chips set up in a place where you can take advantage of them, using that diagonal movement bug. And so I wondered, did they see it and leave it in as an Easter egg? Given how well they designed the rest of the game, I am inclined to give them the benefit of the doubt. But we have a mini boss here, and what spawn? That's an interesting spawn. We're not going to get a quick exit out of this, I don't think. Oh, we are. Oh, that must have been frame perfect. Getting that. Did not expect to get that at all with that far edge spawn. But hey, let's go. Save 3 seconds. This, by the way, is where the enemies as a whole really start to ramp up in damage. I mentioned the red volleyballs, which take out a solid chunk of my health bar, but everything is going to hurt here, and so this is where I really need to start managing. This is where, especially in a PB attempt, I would be two units of health shorter, and I would really have to start worrying about that. We're going to see as I go into quarter 7 here. First thing we're going to see is... perhaps not quite the first, but we're going to see some laser ships. There they are. Those things hurt. So you're going to see, I'm going to take a hit, I'm sure, at some point. You're going to see just how much damage they do to me. So I'm going to kind of sit in the corner here and grab the health upgrades when I can. So yeah, kind of like that. They just eat into my health bar. And I do need to kill them because I do need to, again, push my score along. I am back on score route, so I do need to start picking up the points again. Again, watching what's I'm a little bit higher now, so hold off just a little bit. again, as I'm going through, I'm checking. I have probably 2 or 3 checkpoints along each corridor and each area of the labyrinth. That I say, okay, at this point, I need to have this amount, this score plus or minus this amount, within this range to be able to hit my target. And I'm just watching that as I go. It's another thing that, as a runner, really helps me. Lets me enjoy it more, because it's not just mindlessly sitting here and holding the A and B buttons. It is actually thinking about, okay, what do I need to kill? What do I need to not kill? Where do I need to drop score, pick up score, that sort of thing? How many eyeballs can I kill here? Because this game likes its eyeball bosses, as we see here. The score did end up a little bit high, 440. I want to be 434 here, but it should be all right, I think. But taking a little bit of damage there from the enemies that keep on spawning right until you lose control. That's kind of a prelude to what we may see on the final boss. However, since I did not get the drops that I needed in that corridor, so I'm going to go over here, pick up a spare enemy eraser ammo pack. Enemy erasers, by the way, are the one special weapon which do not use chips. They instead have their own ammo. And so in order to get more, we do need to pick up ammo packs. Normally, I would set up my drops in quarter 6, and then since I don't take a death warp, get the ammo pack fighting in quarter 7. But since I had to drop score, that also meant I couldn't push my drop counter along far enough. But yeah, we are heading into area 8. Before we go into quarter 8, we're going to make a slight detour here to visit Sir Red. Sir Red is a mini-boss. We'll see him in just a moment. Used to be a major gatekeeper in the run, but runner Schmitty, who's done a lot of work on this game recently, came up with this really great strat you're about to see. Call it the pole dance strat. Bounce, 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 and done. That is so much safer than what we used to do. So I had a strat for that which put him into a horizontal loop, but you took a lot more damage. I actually did not think we could do it at the health levels that we used to. But now that we're going into quarter 8, I'm going to say these enemy erasers, every time I use one, there will be a flash on the screen. It's a fairly soft flash, but it looks kind of like this. So if that is an issue for you, please turn up the lights, shrink the window, do what you need to do to be safe. I will be using those fairly regularly throughout the rest of the run, so just keep that in mind. I will try to call out when I use several of them in succession, but just be aware there will be a few of those, or occasional, going forward. So we're into area 8, quarter 8. This is a very busy quarter. This is also where I am going to do the score route comes to a head, and I'm going to try and hit a very specific target. The score I'm looking for is 478,500 points at the boss, plus or minus 500. That is the tight margin that I am aiming for. That is why I've had to manage my score all this way. Make sure I can hit that, because that is what will give us the boss fight that I am looking for. So 460. I'm going to focus on my score here. Make sure that I hit my target. 462. Let these guys go. 466. 469, 71, 73, that hurt. 76, 778. So a little bit low, a little bit nervous, but let's see how this goes. Grimgrin here, actually the second highest health of any boss in the game. Up another health drop there. Chips running low. I may have to farm here. Is this? Oh, but we got the level up. That is what I was looking for. That is why we score out. We got the level up that I was looking for. My chips are refilled. I can keep on fighting, especially through this this middle phase where he does not shoot many projectiles at all, and it is very difficult to get drops. But we will soon get him out of that. Get him back into the farming. But I think I'm going to run low on chips. I may have to farm with enemy erasers here. Oh no, there is a red chip. We are back in business. The blue chip, I don't need it, but it's in my way, so I'll pick it up anyway. There's a heart. Again, knowing what the drops are, knowing what I can expect, when I can expect it, is how I get through that fight, and that was a good Grimgrin fight. I'm satisfied with that. So yeah, that was quarter 8. That went pretty well, given that I did have that one death earlier, did have to manage my score. So we're going to head on straight onto Area 9, getting close to the end here. But we do have a bit of a walk here, so I'll throw it back over to Skemny. You have anything for me?
I do, but it's not quite a drop of the safety item. We've had a $15 donation come in from Jussi, who says, Stream 2 is cozy and Nez is great. I couldn't agree more. Just $10 more there, so $25, and you can cause vaxherd here to ignore the next safety item that's coming up any minute now. So get those donations in quickly.
Yep, thank you so much. I do agree with both. The Stream 2 is extremely cozy. It's a wonderful place to be. And the NES is a wonderful system. This is one of my favorite games on it, as I'm sure you can tell from everything I've been saying about it and about this game. But here we are. We are into Area 9. Got a kind of a stone theme to it. I want to take one bit of damage here for a really interesting reason, which I'll bring up. Actually, I guess it won't matter because I will be picking up a safety item, and so I'll take some damage afterward. We do have one more safety item left that you can force me to drop if you are so inclined. And but the one I will be picking up is right down here. And the last one will be coming up after quarter 9, so that is just a few minutes away. That is probably 3-4 minutes, I would say. So again, just another $10 I hear, so by all means get your donations in. I will happily drop that for the sake of charity. But we're going to take a little bit of damage here before I pick up this red lander, because whenever your health bar is moving, so you may notice whenever I take damage, and also when I get health back, it scrolls, moves 1 pixel by frame rather than just instantly changing. Whenever it's doing that, you're invincible. And so in order to make sure I could get out of that volleyball festival safely, I took some early damage, then picked up the red lander, and while I was getting that health refill, and moved out of the screen knowing that I was fully invincible to all of the damage from volleyballs. Because those things hurt. We are in the end game, and I have probably not even half of the items you're expected to have at this point in the game. And so we're going to make our way through here. So again, we have the laser ships are back. We have these blue ships, the bullet shooting blue ships, and I want to shout out Schmitty again for pointing out that if you sit at this specific point in the screen, the blue ships can't get you. Unfortunately, the other stuff can, and it also hurts. But the blue ships were a big problem for me for a long time. In many of my runs, I would just flat out die in this and lose the run. And so, big shout out to Schmitty for finding that. There are going to be some more enemy erasers here, by the way. Count these up. 2, 3, 15 of these pomegranates I have to take care of. And I'm also going to be watching my drops because I want to set up a specific sequence of drops on the boss. So again, several things to manage as I go through. It is not just not just kill all the enemies. It is know what you're doing, know what you need, know what you have to get. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, no, it's not. Okay, well, we got 2 hearts coming up. That should be good enough. And here is Igor, blue version. There's heart number 1. Good refill, and notice that I did not lose any health while that was refilling. We'll see it again right here. Full invincibility while I'm refilling from a health drop. Red chip there, refills gets me a bit of health back, and I'm actually not going to take that because we're going to do a death warp, depending on what I have to hear from Skemny.
That is, you are not going to be able to pick up your last safety item.
All right.
Because Jussi has come back with another $10 to make it the 25.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
So there it is.
Thank
you so much.
All right. Thank you so much. So we're just going to go straight over here into a death warp and go straight on to quarter 10, which is the final, area 10, which is the final area of the game. So here we go back into area 10. And area 10 is kind of unique. Because if you're playing casually, you'll explore this labyrinth, and it really is a labyrinth. A lot of branching paths, secrets to find, that sort of thing. Area 10 is very different. Area 10, and by the way, one thing I'm going to call out right here, because I never mentioned it before, Corridor 20. What is 20 doing in a 1 to 10 game? Well, those are optional corridors. They give you rewards if you fight them, but you don't have to. And obviously, since they are shoot-'em-up sections, we're going to skip them all in the any % run. But Area 10 is just one long... basically a gauntlet, forcing you to survive, because at this point in the game, you are expected to have every single thing you can pick up. You're expected to have a full inventory, full power-ups, full everything, full wall clips, and we only have a few of those. We're going through with a lot less than developers intended, and so this is really a real test of the runner's skill. I honestly think this whole segment from Area 10 into Corridor 10 is harder than the final boss rush. That's how tricky it is, and we do have a couple extra bits of health here, but honestly, it's not going to make that much difference. If things go bad, they will go bad. But we are on our way. It's a sneak through the wall right there. Again, one of the very few minor glitches in this game. And incidentally, there's a funny coincidence that walk through walls glitch is the same glitch that sometimes causes you to get stuck when you're walking up against a wall. It's a funny coincidence of how the programming worked out. But again, on the whole, very solid program, very well designed, developed. And we are at Quarter 10, whose gimmick is to keep on shooting, as the NPC tells us. So that is exactly what we'll do. Shoot for 11 seconds, and the gate will open itself up. Just like that. Nope. We may need to use enemy erasers, because I talked about Gauntlet before. The true Gauntlet is coming up right here after this initial bit with the rocks, and I have a few rock circles. And then I'm going to go quiet, because I need some actual serious time for this Gauntlet. So this is definitely a run killer, and I may have to switch over to enemy erasers for safety, just as a heads up. So here we go. See that? Got it? See that? Got it. Oh, missed it. Ooh, that's dangerous. Could be in trouble here. Could be in trouble. Oh, we got a laser glitch too. Oh boy, can I get that? Okay, start. Laser glitch. Laser glitch still going. Yeah. Okay, got a heart. That's good. Laser glitch resolved itself finally. That's a fun one that we usually don't see in any percent. It comes up often in Quarter 14, which is another of the optional ones. We don't see it much here. It's kind of funny to get it there, but I guess the game wanted to show off for you all. It's good stuff. The score has ended up being a little bit low here, so I'm going to farm a couple of nails. It's extremely dangerous, but we're going to do it anyway because I need the score. 736, still a little low. Get some of these skulls. Push the score up. Where's the energy tank? Okay, I need to farm a bunch of skulls here. I want to push my drop counter very far along. What can we get here? 1, 2, 3. Ooh, I don't think I'm going to get there. 4. Can we get 5? No. Okay, we do have a heart coming up, though. So we're in a decent position. So this is Igor number 2. This is the red Igor. This is the big brother. This one's going to hurt a lot. Again, shout out to Schmitty. Found a good position for... it's not... I'm not going to say safe, but not as dangerous as many other options. So far, it's looking good. We do have 2 red chips coming up as well. Hopefully we'll be all right. There they come. Okay, number 1, number 2. Oh, we should get the kill right around here. There it is. All right, made it through. Whew, I'm actually relieved to get through Corridor 10. It's, even with the extra health, very scary corridor. But we are safely through it. We are going on to the final boss rush. So we've completed all 10 corridors. We've unlocked the self-destruct sequence, and now we need to get out before Naju blows up with us inside it. So that is a thing we should do. Up we go. And score is in a good place. We will head straight on to Order 21. You go into this room playing casually. You go in. This is very close to the room of reflection. So you go in here, you find nothing here until you get to this point in the game, and suddenly, if you look at the mini map, there's a mini map. Great thing in the game. We'll show you all of a sudden the corridor has appeared there, and this is how we get out. This is our ticket to the end of the game. So this is a boss rush. We see here Flipa from Quarter 1. Stats are the same. Stats have not changed. So obviously Quarter 1 boss is going to go down pretty quickly with our current gun. We may not have full power-ups, but we have plenty to take care of these first few bosses very quickly. Next up is going to be Zib Zub from Quarter 5. Going to get underneath, because if you lure him to the side, he jumps all over the screen and things get very messy. But looking good so far. Switch over to Cutter here. So here's a new one. So this, so again, this the game expects you to play the whole game, including the optional corridors. This guy is from corridor 14, Clawbot. Unfortunately, he has nothing he can do if we just sit on top of him like this, and so that is what we do. Thanks for playing. Come again. I need more score. I'm going to grab those. Again, watching my score because we're not at the level up yet. I have to keep doing this until the final boss. Next up, we have Optimon, red version. This guy's quarter 16. Looks harder, but actually we have level 3 cutter, which lets us get through nice and safely. Safely squeeze through. But one of the advantages of these many of the level 3 sub-weapons is they can actually destroy projectiles like those seaweed strands. Makes the bosses a lot easier to get through. The next up we have Blue Grimgrin. So this is quarter 18, the slightly weaker version of what we saw in quarter 8. Weaker only in that it has lower health. You will see, of course, the game lagging here because I don't want to be shooting my main gun. But if I don't shoot my main guns, the rocks will instantly destroy me. It is the rocks that make this boss rush so hard. If it was just the bosses, honestly, it would be really, really easy. It's the rocks that you really have to watch out for that will really destroy you. See, even with the extra health I have, the health is just dropping like a rock. So going to make our way through. Should be pretty much through this. What is my score going to be when we take you out, I wonder? I need chips, though. There we go. 950, a little bit low. I think we'll be okay. So we can potentially get a 5-cycle on this boss, but I think if I get a 5-cycle, my score is going to be too low. I'm going to deliberately hold back just a little bit. This is Bombarder, by the way, quarter 19 boss. He shoots out lots of missiles at you, but since I'm taking them out frame 1, you don't see them. Get a little bit of more body check damage in there. Score is not looking good at all, though. I'm a little worried about the score route. I need to be up at 975 when I finish this boss rush. 972. Okay, how many more rocks can I get before we leave? Okay, also, I want to point out there's going to be some hard flashing here in just a moment, so anyone who is photosensitive, please look away for just a moment, and I will let you know when it's safe. And the flashing is done. And we are into the final boss. The excitement for the final boss. What do we have here? A blue chip. Okay. Alright. I am not in a good position at all on either score or drops. So I think I will probably have to farm a little bit before I get to the level up. It's unfortunate, but the level up will still help us get through the rest of the fight. Will let us do a lot less farming than we'd have to otherwise. And this is the final boss. This is it. Seems really tame, but number one, he has a ton of health. Literally the most health of any boss in the game. Now, not too surprising for a final boss. But also, he does not shoot many projectiles for most of the fight. And so it is next to impossible to get health and chip refills. See, my chips are already running real low. And I am definitely going to have to farm for chips here. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Should be enough. And there's the level up. So a little bit too far out. You know, if I gotten another 3,000 in the boss rush, we would have been fine. But I was just a little short. I must have failed. But we are now into the... He's into the second half, but you can't tell because he doesn't change phases until he's down to a quarter health. Now we're into this. There's 14 seconds left. I'm going to grab that. When he turns red, I will have 7 seconds left. Have to survive 7 seconds here. I'll watch my health carefully here. I'm going to grab that. Well, that's unfortunate. That is unfortunate. All right. Well, as the reflection tells us, I must have failed. I do apologize very much for that. I was very close. I should have played it safe. I should have gone for another farm there, but I wanted to see it out, and I got a little bit greedy. My fault. I'm sorry. But we will finish the run. The only difference is we do not have score route now, and so I will have to do a backup strat for that, which involves taking a chip upgrade here. So see the little red lander there, you saw him for just a moment. The big blue guy is just the NPC. It's kind of the developer's mascot, I guess. They're called landers. Very cute guys. We'll also take a quick stop in the save room to reset my save point. Hopefully we'll not need this, but you know, we do want to get this done in a reasonable amount of time. So come back here. I must have failed, as the room tells us. But we do have the red lander. We have more chips going in here, and so that will reduce the need to farm, hopefully at all, but we'll see how it goes. So the whole reason we try to do score routing is so we don't have to pick up that extra lander. The reason we can't pick it up sooner is because it costs 600 chips to buy, and when we pass by there normally, we don't have that level of, we don't have those chips to buy it. And so one way or another, we would have to spend lots of extra time. So ultimately, that's how score route worked out, but this time did not quite work as I hoped. So while I'm going back to this boss rush, Skemmy, you have any last thoughts for us?
Last thoughts only. You must have failed, but it's completely fine because we forgive you for it. It's been a really entertaining and really informative run, so thank you so much for that. And we are at $36,506 raised for Make-A-Wish.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Which is incredible.
Yes. Yes, and we still have several days of the event to go.
We are nowhere near done.
Yes, it's so good that to see these kind of events going on, making a difference in people's lives, and it is just really an honor to be a part of that. But we still have one boss rush to go, and I'm still going to get through that. This time we're going to get through it safely. Red Optimon down again. Again, it is these rocks that really destroy you in this boss rush. And it is a thing that I am always watching for when I play through it. Okay. This time, of course, I will need to also watch my drop counter more closely, because I will not have the level up to refill my chips halfway through the fight. I do need to make sure I have those red chips ready to drop when I can get them, when I need them for the fight. Where is that? Okay, it's one here. Next will be an energy tank. That will get me my health back. Sometimes they don't drop for a while. You have to wait for the little colored explosion to finish the flashing. And you have to hope that you don't die in the interim, but we did get that one. Push our way through here. Saber for the final red bombarder. Check where we are in the sequence. That is a heart. 2 red chips, so I need to push the counter quite a ways. So I'm going to stay back. I'm going to hold back from body checking here and just get lots of kills here to push the drop counter along. Red chip number 1. So again, just knowing where I am, I'm intending to have the drop counter set up so that I will get 2 red chips, maybe 30 seconds into the fight. And there we go. That is a heart. So we have the red chips pretty much ready. I will stop killing stuff here. And we'll have, and again, once again, the flashing is coming up, and I will let you know when it is done. Flashing is done. So it's time. Ooh, I'm going to try and dodge most of these. I don't want to take any damage here, but I do want to save my red chips for a little bit farther into the fight. Red chip gives you 500 chips back. I don't want to pick them up until I am more than 500 chips under my max, so that I can take full advantage of those. So we will see. We will see if I have set it up correctly as we go into here. Once again, final boss. Bit. I may have to farm for health first. I'm actually going to do that. So again, flashing from the farming. All right. Oh! Did I just do that? I never talked about the 0 health hitbox. The game is punishing me for not talking about the 0 health hitbox. So, 0 health hitbox. I mentioned I may have touched on it a little bit earlier, but I did not touch on the fact that it is a double-edged sword. So when you're at 0 health, I mentioned that the health bar is basically Miria's shield. And when it goes down to 0, the shield is gone. Since the shield is gone, your hitbox shrinks. That means you can dodge stuff. It also means you cannot pick up items unless you're much closer to them than usual. What happened there was I opened the item. I tried to pick it up, but I was not close enough for the 0 health hitbox to count, and therefore I did not pick up the item, and I died. So that by the way, happens very frequently in PB attempts. Because in PB attempts, of course, we run with less health anyway. We get all the way down to 0 health very often. We try to get the power up, and it is just out of the way. So, terribly sorry about that. But the third try, I promise, will be the charm. He's a little bit safe there. Make sure that I stay out of the way. If your positioning is slightly off, sometimes the special weapons do not get registered as being in the boss's hitbox, and then you take damage. And so I just want to be a little bit careful with my positioning there. Again, back into Grimgrin. The major difference between blue and red Grimgrin, just that the very first phase with all 5 eyes open doesn't last as long, and so it goes more quickly into that middle phase where he's not shooting anything at all. But of course, with all of these rocks falling down, we have no shortage of drop sources. And there's a nice health refill. And again, I am going to try and manage my drops. I do still need to pick up those red chips at the right place in the fight. I also manage my health. So let's see. Blue chip. Heart. Heart. I think I can get a 6th cycle here. Let's see how this goes. There we go. Ooh. Health is not looking great, but let's see how this goes. Once more, the flashing, and I apologize for this. I will make this the last time. Calling it now. This will be the last time.
Yeah. Just double checking that's because you're going to get it, not because...
This!
Yes.
Yes, and then flashing is done. We are on to the final boss. Health is not looking good. I will probably have to farm for drops, and again, the farming is also flashing a little bit more apparent on this black background. If I call that farming, that's your cue. But we will see. I will do my best. The big thing on this boss is the bubbles. May not look like the boss itself does not do that much damage. The bubbles are very painful. Here we go. First drop, bubble coming in. Ooh, I am actually, yeah, gonna go in early and get those drops out. There's one. Oh dear. What do we say? Yeah. Yep. I did my best. I must have failed.
You must have failed. It's okay though.
I wanted to show, I wanted to get through the fight, but I made some poor decisions. That's on me, and we didn't make it. But I hope you all have still enjoyed the run. As you see, as you can probably tell from how much I've talked about it, I love this game. I love this run. So great thanks to ESA for allowing me to showcase this, and my apologies for not completing the run.
I don't think you've got anything to apologize for.
But that will do it for me. Again, shout out to the community, a small community. But if you're interested in looking at this game, we do have a link a link to our Discord on speedrun.com, and drop in, say hi, and be happy to talk to you. So I think that will do it for me, and I'll send it back over to the event. Thank you very much.